Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om. Welcome to the fourth session of Chinmaya Yoga. This broadcast is happening from Chennai, and not unlike the earlier broadcast which happened from Chinmaya Surya at Puducherry. So, we saw last week how Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji spoke about quietening the mind. For practicing the task of quietening the mind, Abhyasa and Vairagya, we need tremendous amount of energy. And so how do we get that energy? It is by tremendous enthusiasm towards the task we are taking up. And that is the reason why in India, in Bharata Desha, we have so many celebrations and festivals throughout the year. In fact, all 360 days in those times were filled with some festival or the other, some celebration or the other, whether it can be Krishna Jayanti or Vinayaka Chaturthi, or every month it can be Amavasya, Paurnami, or Shashti, Panchami, Navami, Dashami. Every day used to be some celebration or some reason for doing yoga sadhana. That is because when we work towards increasing our energy, a celebration or people gathering together for some cause, some satsanga will always help us. So, in this episode of Hazing Slowly by Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji, he speaks about the attitude of bhavana, giving up even the thought that I am the thinker and I am the feeler. So there is a thinking and feeling entity in us called Sankalpavan. So it is the mind's function to think and feel and to imagine, in thought, in short, to make sankalpas. These feelings and thoughts cannot arise and they cannot be maintained by themselves. It requires a thinker, feeler, and an ego and entity. When this idea, I am the thinker, feeler, it is renounced by a meditator. He becomes thereafter an interested observer. So when I become a meditator, when I am a thinker and a feeler, when I'm a thinker and a feeler, I'm always thinking and feeling something. And because I think this and I feel that, there's always some disturbance. But when I become a meditator, I give up the thought that I'm a thinker and a feeler, and I become an observer of the flood of thoughts that rise in me. And very soon, when I just become an observer and a non-participant and a non-doer or a non-responder for all the thoughts, all the thinking and feeling, the necessity to think and feel stop, because the series of thoughts that come suddenly stop when I become an observer. The thoughts come because I feel something and I think something. As long as the thinking and feeling entity is there, thoughts keep gurgling up and thoughts keep coming. But when I just remain as myself, the self I, these thoughts stop to come. And so how does this happen? How can I remain as the knower of the I, the knower of the self, and not the thinking and feeling entity? So that is how this process of giving up the sankalpa comes. Yoga Vasishta says, Sankalpo hi manasaha vyavaharikam rupam sankalpascha sankalpavataham purushasya apekshaya bhavati tadabhave mano na bhavati. So in a very simple way, how to be free of the mind. If there is a sankalpa or samyak kalpaha, proper imagination is a way by which the mind, the the existence of the mind is there because of the sankalpa. Sankalpa cha sankalpavataha purushasya apekshaya bhavati. If there is an individual, a being existing, I am so and so, I am I am a rich person, I am a poor person, I am a worker, I am an employee, I am an employer. When these kind of thoughts are there, then there are sankalpas or proper imagination connected to those thoughts. When these thoughts are not there, then there is no reason for sankalpa. There is no reason for the mind at all to exist in the first place. So, how to practice this kind of non-sankalpa, how to practice this art of not having any particular thought. That is why in those days, when we do a puja, we have a sankalpa. We say mamopata, samasta, durita, kshayadvara. So instead of to be free from many sankalpas, we should have one sankalpa or one affirmation in our mind. What is that affirmation? Why do I sit for meditation? Why do I want to control the mind? Why do I want to control my thoughts? Why do I want to be free of thoughts? Why do I want to practice yoga? So, when we sit for meditation, we sit as someone who has achieved everything. I sit as the person who has conquered, who has achieved everything. Even though you have not conquered in battles, the world, you become the world conqueror when you have conquered your mind. And although you have for long conquered the world by force, you have conquered nothing of the world so long as you have not conquered yourself. तस्मिन् जिते जिता लोका भविष्यति अजिता अपि अजिते तु अजिता येते चिरकाल जिता अपि, says the Yoga Vasishtam. If I have conquered my mind, I have conquered the world. If I have not conquered the mind, how much ever I might have conquered the world, I cannot have considered to conquer the world at all. In order to thus conquer the mind, one need not run away physically from all sense objects or living beings in one's life. All that we have to do is to attend consistently to taming the mind. The objects, Vishayas, are helpless against a mind under control of the clear intellect. The sense organs will not dare run out into the cesspools of sensuous gratifications when the mind behind them is fully disciplined and strictly cultivated one. So, if I conquer the mind, I would have conquered the world. So, in the Bhagavad Gita too, or in the Tirukural, in many places they talk about how to conquer the mind, like how the sense organs are contained inside the mind, like the tortoise that draws all its limbs inside its shell in times of danger. In the same way, draw the five organs, sense organs of perception into the mind. How is that process done? The Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks of 7 steps by which this can be achieved. The first step to conquering the mind before it is taken deeper into the path of meditation. In that, the first step is in the previous chapter also of Hasten Slowly, Pujya Gurudev has quoted this: Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, Sukha, dukkha, punya, apunyanam. There are 7 ways by which we can practice control of mind as given in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And of the 7, this is the first. The first is, why this is the first? Because even though we are not sitting down to practice yoga, or practice pranayama, or practice meditation, we are constantly engaged with the world. We are interacting with people, we are interacting with many objects and situations. So, Patanjali Maharshi gives a very simple, easy step for us to conquer the mind 24 hours. 24 hours we are engaging with the world. So when we engage with the world, how do we conquer the mind? Maitri Sukhishu. How much ever we may engage with the world, there are only 4 categories of people we come across in our lives. What are the 4 categories? The people who basically can be contained into 2 types of people, 2 categories of people. People who interact with us in our day to day life, our near and dear ones, and friends whom we know, and people whom we don't know that belong to the society at large. Among the people whom we know, there are 2 types of people: the people who give us joy and the people who give us sorrow. Among the people who give us joy, how do we interact with people who give us joy? Means we feel a sense of happiness when we interact with them. We feel very happy when we talk to them. They speak to us lovingly. They help us in whatever we want to do. They encourage us and they appreciate what we do. So these are the kind of people who give us joy. When people who give us joy, how do we relate to them? Sukhishu. Sukhishu means people who give us joy. We interact with them with the feeling of Maitri. Maitri means friendship. Like Adi Shankar, Kanchi Paramacharya sang that very beautiful song, Maitrim Bhajata Akhila Krijetrim Atmavadeva Paranapi Pashyatam. Atmavadeva. When you experience Maitri with somebody, you look at the other person as your own self. So when somebody is giving joy in my life, people known to me, my friends and members of family, I interact with them with the feeling of Maitri or the feeling of friendship. When somebody gives me sorrow, our normal response is to get irritated, to get angry, to complain about them, or to respond angrily to them. But the only way we can help them and help ourselves, basically help our mind, is to express through the bhava of karuna. Karuna bhava is cultivating the feeling of compassion towards that person, looking at that person with compassionate eyes. And when that happens, the possibility of their anger or their hatred towards us can change. But even if that does not happen, at least the possibility of entertaining anger inside us will go away when we have karuna bhava towards them. So, people who give us joy, people who make us happy in our personal life, express with Maitri Bhava, and people who give us sorrow, express with the Bhava of Karuna or the feeling of Karuna. Then we are left with 2 more categories of people, that is in the outside world. In the outside world also, there are 2 types of responses that we can give, because there are 2 categories of people. So ultimately, all our relationships are only of these 4 types. Of the 4 types, they can be divided into 2: people whom we know, people whom we relate to, friends, family, and the local groups of people whom we personally know. And the other category of people is people of the world. Among the people whom we know, we can respond to those who give us joy with the feeling of Maitri or the feeling of friendship. And to those who give us sorrow, we can respond with the feeling of Karuna. Karuna is compassion. And in the world outside, there are two categories of people, as I mentioned earlier. The first category is people who do punya karma, people who do actions that give everybody joy or make everybody experience punya or happiness or joy. And to those people, you can respond even if you are not able to do actions for them. You can, in your mind, you can respond with mudita. Mudita means expressing joy. We say, oh wow, what a great work you have done. We encourage them, we motivate them, we clap hands for them, or we say, what a wonderful job you have done in whatever way. For example, somebody is participating in the Swachh Bharat movement, or somebody is doing some great work in society. We may not know that person. We come to know about that through WhatsApp or through social media, and we have to respond to it in some way or the other. If we even respond to it with some good, smiley or some claps or some emoji that we can send across, that much itself we would have done our job of mudita. There are only two categories of people. So the people who do good in society, the people who do punya karma, we can respond with joy to them. We can either express our joy personally, or we can convey it through somebody, or we can convey the joy through some medium. And the fourth way of responding is to people who do apunya karma. Apunya karma means papa karma. Papa karma means actions that give trouble to others, actions that cause injury to others, actions that cause sin in society. Sin means disturbance of mind. There are so many activities that people do which we constantly complain about. It can be terrorism, it can be corruption, or it can be contributing towards issues like global warming, increased carbon footprint, and increased, creating a very dirt and dust and garbage, polluting the earth. So many things can happen that we do not really like, that does not really help us. So in all those situations, and when we come across or hear about all those people in our life, actually this is where we need to watch out, because when we come across these people, when we engage in conversations about these people, we criticize them, we get angry about them, we tweet about them and retweet about them, we forward WhatsApp messages to people criticizing them and expressing our anger and showing our anger. But if we really want to conquer our mind, if we want to keep our mind quiet, that is not the way to respond. When I respond angrily on WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, I feel very temporarily happy that I have done something great, because when I express my anger, my mind becomes quiet. But it is only for a temporary period of time, and the cause for anger has not faded away. The way of expressing my anger has also not changed. So when I if how do I then relate to such events that happen in society? I relate by upeksha. Upeksha means mentally ignoring that. We cannot particularly ignore something and still focus on it. We cannot talk about corruption, talk about terrorism, or talk about all the problems that are there in society, even if there is poverty, even if we are going to discuss about poverty or whatever it is that is happening in society that we don't like, it is not by when we do something for that, then we are engaging in right action. When we are doing something to counter that, then that will also keep our mind in peace. So, one is, if there is a problem in society and I really want to vent out my grievance, I send the letters to the editor. It is an action that I do. Or I contact a minister, or I contact the local police, or I contact the local authorities. and I do something that is necessary, not to shout at them, but point out that this is happening and what can be done for that, and can I help in any way. When I do some positive action towards that, then also my mind will be calm. If I'm not in a position to do anything, then the only way of calming my mind is to shut my mind, stop my mind running in the direction of somebody who's causing apunya, or one who is causing disturbance in society, and focusing my mind on some constructive action, either in the direction which is required, but towards a particular work, or in some other work in which I am able to focus my mind on. So the single line theme of this whole episode will be focus on what you want and not what you don't want. I want joy, I want happiness, I want peace, I want harmony. So then I do something, I think something, I speak something, I focus on that, and my mind will become quiet. The first step towards beginning any sadhana is to sit as the one who has conquered the world. Nothing in this world needs to be conquered by me. Everything that has to be achieved has been achieved by me. Sitting on the seat of meditation, I don't have to do this or I don't have to do that. I have nothing to achieve anything in the world. Everything that I really need to achieve has been achieved already. In that, in that bhava, in that aspect, when I sit down for meditation, then further thoughts will not arise in my mind. So, this is the way of quietening the mind by relating to people, as Gurudev pointed out even in the first chapter. If I want to meditate for half an hour, 23 hours, 23 and a half hours of the day, I have to live my life in this manner. Only then my mind will be allowed to meditate by my own self. Who is the one who is an enemy for the mind? I am my own enemy and I am my own friend. That's what the Bhagavad Gita says. There is Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. I can make myself happy by my own self and no other. I am the enemy and I am the friend of my own mind. So, how to make my mind my friend is to be very happy with people, respond with happiness, respond with joy to people who are known to me, who give me joy, and people who are known to me, who give me sorrow in some way or the other. I will respond with karuna, with compassion. How do I respond with compassion? Suppose, imagine somebody is scolding me, or somebody is expressing anger towards me, somebody who knows me very well. My immediate response will be anger normally. But when I express with karuna, there is a method in the Hawaiian community. It is called Ho'oponopono. We too have many prayers like that. We have a prarthana called Shama Prarthana, where it is in the it is in a shloka in praise of Lord Shiva as one's own self. Shiva, that is Atma Linga Shiva Pujana. In the last line of that shloka, it says, Karacharana Kritam Vak Kayajam Karmajam Va Shravana Nayana Jamba Manasam Vaparadham Vihitam Va Sarvametat Kshamasva Jaya Jaya Karunabdhe Shri Mahadeva Shambho Jaya Jaya Karunabdhe Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Kara, because anything that causes anger to us, anything that causes irritation to us, anything that is disturbing to us, is all coming not because of that person, but because of so many actions, so many words, and so many thoughts that we have thought in so many lives that we have left behind. And even in this life, so many of our actions, so many of our words, and so many of our thoughts have gone out into this universe, and they go around the earth as the earth spins. And in course of time, it comes back to us. When it comes back to us, it comes back as anger, hatred, jealousy, and so many other emotions that we experience. So when we understand that it is coming because of the thoughts, words, and actions that I have sent out into the universe, I take the onus of solving that situation. I take the responsibility of solving that situation of anger and hatred on myself. And how do I do it? By offering it into the feet of the Lord, whichever is our personal deity. This anger, this hatred, this jealousy that I'm facing, I'm unable to handle it, and so I offer it to you. Kara charana kritam vak kayajam karmajam va. With my hands, with my feet, with my body, with my actions, with my sense organs. Shravana Nayana Jamba Manasamcha Aparadham. With my mind, whatever I might have caused, Aparadham means whatever is not in harmony with the working of this universe, I might have done. Jaya Jaya Karuna Abdhe. You are the ocean of compassion, O Shiva. Shri Mahadeva Shambho. I offer it unto you. So that is one way of offering it into the personal deity whom we worship. Otherwise, even at the end of all pujas that we do, there's another prayer. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi adyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami Shrimannara. Body, with my mind, manasa indriyaiva, with my senses, whatever I have done. Kayena vacha manasendriyaiva buddhi, with my intellect, whatever I have done, I offer it unto you, O Shriman Narayana. So this is another way of practicing karuna, is offering our problems unto the Lord is one way by which Bhagavan can give us karuna. Ishvara can give us that compassion, which we can look at with the people who give us sorrow in our lives. In the other way is this Ho'oponopono is a American Indian method of blessing others or healing situations. So it says, I'm sorry, whatever happens, whatever difficulties that happen, we just keep chanting to that person, situation, or object that gives us sorrow. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. When we, with all our heart, when we say this prayer and we offer this prayer towards a person who is giving us trouble, who is creating trouble for us in our life, then all problems will be solved. Either that person changes or that person moves out of our life because they are done with whatever they need to. They give us trouble for some reason. They're all like a postman who come and deliver our letters. Our postman is not going to deliver our letter to somebody else's house, or he is not going to deliver somebody else's letter to us. He is going to come and give only the letter that is deserving to us, that has been addressed to us. In the same way, we have done so many actions, and the results of those actions are all coming in terms of trials, tribulations, ordeals, and people, situations, and objects that we meet in our life that are giving us trouble. So just like even the postman can sometimes deliver letters wrongly to some other address, but there is a proverb, Subhashitam in Tamil, in Sanskrit, which says, Yatha Dhenu Sahasreshu. Even if there are Vatsam Vindati Mataram. So, even when there are thousands of cows, that particular cow is there, the calves that are let out into a group of thousands of cows in a field, that cow will go only to its mother. Even if all the cows look alike, this cow will go only to its own mother. In the same way, even though there are so many situations that are to be faced in life that are around us, whatever actions we have done, only those actions are coming back to us as our as the results of our own karma or actions. So the best way to face them is to bless that situation with love and respect. When we look at that situation or person with love and respect, then we exhaust that need for suffering, and then that suffering does not anymore longer exist in our life. So in our personal life and in our society, in our personal life, to those who experience joy, I express with friendliness. Those who give me sorrow, I express with compassion. In public life, those who do good actions that cause good results in society, I express my happiness and joy. And those who do mean actions or actions that cause negative reactions in society, I just turn a blind eye. I turn a blind eye and I focus on my own actions. I focus on what I have to do, what I am responsible for. When I do these four things, my mind will be very quiet in my response to the society and to the activities in the universe. And then such a quiet mind, a peaceful mind, can be turned towards meditation with ease. So we will look at the next chapter the next Sunday from 6 to 6:30 at Chinmaya Yoga. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai.